We wanted to raise the visibility and make it very clear that the United States had reason to believe that Hafiz Saeed had been one of the principal architects of the attack against Mumbai. And therefore, we wanted to send an unmistakable message of solidarity with India, but not only with India, solidarity with people everywhere who will not tolerate the continuation of terrorism and want to see terrorists brought to justice wherever they may be.
Well, I think Secretary Clinton has come out, I think, very eloquently as to how United States has made up its mind to fight terrorism across the board. And even in our discussions this morning over breakfast, we did talk about terrorism, and then all that terrorism brings into this region and to the other regions of the world as well. Hence, India and the United States have strong cooperation on combating terrorism. In addition to the growing intelligence exchanges and cooperation, we also have a joint working group on counterterrorism, counterterrorism cooperation initiative, and a homeland security dialogue. So we always keep in close contact, and thereby we are trying to checkmate terror from wherever it emanates.
Sean Tandon, AFP.
Thank you, Madam Secretary and Mr. Foreign Minister. I wanted to follow up a little bit on the comments on Iran and its nuclear program and about oil. Madam Secretary, in your conversations here in India, are you confident that India is doing more? You commended Indian efforts. Do you think India has done enough to become exempt from the sanctions that will come into place on June 28th? And Mr. Foreign Minister, if I can follow up, do you agree with the strategic view of the United States when it comes to Iran, the idea that Iran is a global threat? And do you agree with the use of a domestic U.S. law to try to influence Indian policy on this?
Minister first.
Thank you very much. That is in the contemporary context, that is a very important question. Iran is a key country for our energy needs, but we have to look at the Iran issue beyond the issue of energy trade. In the first place, we have to think about this security and stability in the Gulf region. India has vital stakes in the Gulf region. 6 million Indians live and work in the Gulf region and beyond. It is one of the critical destinations of our external trade. Over $100 billion in exports, and over 60% of oil imports, and a major source of remittances. There are ties of religion, culture, and civilization that bind us to the region. There is turbulence in wider West Asian and North African region with uncertain outcomes. Hence, we have a strong interest in peaceful and negotiated settlement of issues relating to Iran's nuclear program. Our position on the nuclear issue has been clear, and it has always been consistent. With respect to our energy, we are dependent on imports to meet bulk of our requirements. India's imports are growing on an average by about 10 million tons annually. Given our growing demand, it is natural for us to try and diversify our sources of imports of oil and gas to meet the objective of energy security. Since you ask a specific question about Iran, it remains an important source of oil for us, although its share in our imports are declining, which is well known. Ultimately, it reflects the decision that refineries make based on commercial, financial, and technical considerations. We have discussed our position and our perspectives on energy security, and these discussions will continue. As far as India is concerned, we subscribe to and rigorously implement the UN Security Council resolutions. This issue, however, is not a source of discord between our two countries.
Well, Sean, as the minister said, the United States and India share the same goal. We both want to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. And India has been a strong partner in urging Iran to live up to its international obligations and to use the P5+1 talks that began again in Istanbul and will meet again this month in Baghdad to demonstrate unequivocally the peaceful intent of its nuclear program. As I said in Calcutta yesterday, we don't believe Iran would be back at the negotiating table unless there had been the unrelenting pressure of international sanctions. And this pressure must stay on if we want to see progress toward a peaceful resolution. So we commend India for the steps its refineries are taking to reduce imports from Iran, and we have also been consulting with India and working with them in some areas on alternative sources of supply. So we had a very good discussion of these issues during my visit. Our energy coordinator, Ambassador Carlos Pascual, will be here with an expert team next week to continue these consultations, but there's no doubt that India and the United States are after the same goal.
Last question, Ashish Singh, Star News.
Morning, Excellencies. My question is for both Secretary of State Ms. Clinton and Vice President Minister S. N. Krishna. And to you first, both of you discussed the Afghanistan issue also. If you could tell, ma'am, in your assessment, how do you see the current situation of Afghanistan? And after the Western forces start pulling out from Afghanistan, what role do you see India playing in Afghanistan? And to you, sir, if you could also respond to the same question, as in, what role do you see India playing in Afghanistan after Western forces start pulling out from Afghanistan? Thank you.
Well, first, let me say that our consultations with India on Afghanistan are very substantive and helpful. As you, I'm sure, recall, India entered into a strategic partnership with Afghanistan last year. We have just signed our strategic partnership agreement when President Obama went to Kabul to do so with President Karzai. We have made clear that we intend to remain an active presence in Afghanistan. We will support Afghanistan's security and stability. We will contribute to building their capacity in their government and enhancing their economic growth and development. So I think that the phrasing you used is technically perhaps correct, that after 2014, the NATO ISAF mission of combat will end. But the United States and NATO will maintain a commitment of security and development support that will continue. So I think the details of that are being worked out on our side, speaking just for the United States, with the strategic agreement, and now we will negotiate a security agreement. There are a couple of milestones up ahead at the NATO meeting in Chicago in about 2 weeks. There will be a reaffirmation of our commitment to Afghanistan, both to the transition to Afghan-led security and then after 2014. The Indian government will host a private sector conference to encourage more private sector investment in Afghanistan in June. Japan will host a donor conference to encourage more philanthropic contributions and government contributions in July. So the international community is very engaged. I think we all understand that it's imperative we continue to work together to provide as much support for a stable, secure Afghanistan moving forward.
Well, Afghanistan has made significant progress in the last decade. The United States has made enormous contribution. Afghanistan is at a crucial juncture as it begins to assume greater responsibility for governance, development, and security. The most important signal that the international community has to give is a strong, sustained commitment to Afghanistan. With that, I am confident that Afghanistan will become a sovereign, independent, united, and economically viable state, capable of defeating terrorism and resisting interference from outside. We see the US-Afghanistan Strategic Partnership Agreement in that spirit. We will continue to support Afghanistan on the basis of our own Strategic Partnership Declaration of October 2011. Elimination of safe havens in Pakistan is indeed vital for success in Afghanistan and regional security and stability. We remain supportive of any reconciliation effort that is fundamentally acceptable to us, as well as as long as it is led and owned by Afghan people. That upholds the red lines and embraces all sections of Afghan society, and that does not fritter away the gains of the past decade. The international community, along with India, wishes Afghanistan all well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. With that, we come to the end of this media interaction. Thank you.